Hi, I'm Justin Wink, Ph.D., and you're listening to the Engineering Emotions and Energy Podcast. Are you ready to bust burnout, pursue your passion, have more time, money, energy, and relationships you actually love, including the relationship with yourself? If so, then this podcast is for you. I'm a best-selling author, coach, consultant, speaker, and a leader in transforming people's lives from living in fear, obligation, and guilt to living a life of joy, ease, and love. What's most important is that I can teach you all this in a way that's enjoyable, easy, fast, and can actually last. Let's begin. Welcome to the show. Justin Wink here. So good to be with you on this episode. Very, very serious question I have for you as we get going. And I really want you to really ponder this. I really want you to consider this seriously. This is a very serious, very important question that can have huge ramifications for how you might go about living the rest of your life. So the question is, when was the last time you pooped your pants? Really? I mean, for me, it's been at least 2, could be even up to 3 days. It's been at least 2 or 3 days, right? I mean, it's Thanksgiving just happened. It's so, I mean, usually I can go a whole week, an entire week. But, with the Thanksgiving holiday, it kind of shortened it up, But in all seriousness, why would I ask you a question like that? When was the last time you pooped your pants? And it goes to today's topic, which I'm going to be talking today about, are you a quitter? A lot of times, what comes to mind when I ask if you're a quitter? You're probably like, I'm no fucking quitter. I don't quit. I stick through. I keep going. I did until the job is done. And be curious, how's that been working out for you? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, a little bit of what's been going on with me. The last couple of episodes, they were recorded in New Zealand. So I was in New Zealand for about 2 weeks. And so this is almost a full week back for me, back in the US, back in my home state of California. And I really did enjoy New Zealand, had the opportunity to go kind of a last minute trip, go to a retreat, which was just extraordinary. It's kind of the third one like this I've done this year. It was actually kind of interesting. I didn't think I would do 3 retreats like this within a 1-year time span, but things just unfolded, and it's been great. Just what I learned about myself and the skills I get to improve my life and those of other people have just been phenomenal. And I got to do it in wonderful New Zealand, which is just about the opposite of Australia. It's like I love Australia. I love all my Aussie listeners and friends. But man, it seems like everything out there wants to kill you. Like, even Steve Irwin, the guy that, I know, is it too soon to talk lightly about Steve Irwin? But I mean, this is the dude that is like, fuck you, crocodile. I'm coming at you. I'm going to get my thumb up your bum and I'm going to rustle you. And even a guy that's as brave and able to take on the nature and the wild of Australia, even he succumbed to nature. I think it was around Australia. I don't remember the exact circumstances. I just know it was water related. And I was like, oh, not a crocodile. Okay. But yeah, so I thought New Zealand's, near Australia. So probably everything's going to want to kill me there, but it's complete opposite. It's an incredibly safe place in so many ways. It was great to walk around barefoot and just not have to worry about snakes or any weird things. And yeah, and the people were so friendly, and just the nature is gorgeous. And yeah, just a real good place to, I would say, get in touch with nature and really drop in someplace where you don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to be getting robbed? Am I going to be getting attacked by a lion? There's just very few predatory things, human, animal, otherwise, happening in New Zealand. And so it's a great place to go settle in and relax. And also a great place for some adventure. I did a little riverboarding, which, if you're not familiar, it's like whitewater rafting, but without the raft. So you might be going, well, that's insane. But if you've been whitewater rafting, what's the biggest fear? Usually it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall out of the boat. I'm going to fall out of this raft and I'm going to be in the rapids. And so it's a great way to get over that fear, because there is no raft. You're just straight in the water, in the rapids. yet you're trained. It's like many things in life. What we fear is often something that is a great growth opportunity that when we lean into it and we, don't do it in a foolish way, like I wouldn't recommend just going and jumping into a random part of a river with a boogie board. That's silly. But it's one of those things like if someone's like, hey, there's this thing and here's how you do it and here's a spot, you can try it out. It's how a lot of things are with life. And so it's been good being back. And I feel like this is a good opportunity to talk about quitting things because this is kind of a time of year when usually there's a lot of obligations that start to happen this time of year, often to do with family, right? So in the US, we had the Thanksgiving holiday where what's the typical obligation? It's you got to get together with all of your family and have a meal where you spend hours together with people usually you would never spend time with, but you're supposed to be together because that's just what you do on this American holiday. The upcoming Christmas and other holidays, there's, what do we got? Hanukkah and it's the holiday season, right? Where usually it's all about getting together. And often we don't think of like who we're getting together with. We just get together with the people we've always gotten together with, or just anybody because you're supposed to get together with people. And also, so it can be a time of overeating and over drinking, or, sitting around too much or watching too much stuff, a lot of overindulgence, a lot of getting too much into certain activities or spending time with certain types of people. And to me, this is a great time to consider. But I always find it interesting, it comes right before New Year's where people do the New Year's resolutions where it's always like, well, what are the behaviors I want to be doing? And what I found more often than not in a lot of life is whenever there's something that we want to be bringing in, there's usually something that if we look closely, if we consider it, there's something that needs to be going out, right? So it's sort of like if there's like a relationship that you want to have, like you want to have the love of your life amazing and you're currently with someone who's a pain in your ass, that pain in the ass relationship has to go away. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be, a different person. It just means that relationship where you relate with someone as them being a pain in the ass, that needs to go, and a relationship where you relate with somebody as the love of your life needs to come in. And they can't both, it's kind of like, there's kind of an old law of physics where two objects of matter can't occupy the same space at the same time, which is why car crashes are not a good thing. Usually somebody gets hurt, somebody's in pain because you can't have two cars in the same space. So they either have to go around each other or one has to give way, something like that. There's a lot of things in life where if it's like that in one place, it's like that in another. And so you can't have two ways of being that are in opposition in your life at the same time. So you can't simultaneously have an incredible healthy body that would be the result of being someone who eats foods that will work for you and does activities that are good for your body, and simultaneously be the person who's doing sort of destructive habits, drinking too much, eating shitty foods, and sitting around or even being active, but in activities that are actually destructive to your body. I'm looking at you, ultra marathoners. Some of you, this is fantastic for you, but then others of you, there's a price to be paid for all of this overtraining, and only you and your body. No, it's between you and your body, but just a little heads up. I'm just inviting you to consider that. Is this actually like you might be thin, you might like whatever, but how are you feeling? Like, are you having to get all hopped up on supplements and things like that? So today's topic is about quitting. And so why do I ask if you pooped your pants? Because we often think that quitting is a bad thing. We're conditioned that what is the old, even like in sex talk, it's like, are you a spitter or a swallower? And it's like, well, spitters are quitters. And so it presupposes that quitting is bad. And so spitting is, it's like, well, if you want someone to swallow, just let them swallow. If not. And again, this is an adult podcast. So if you don't know what I'm referring to, then maybe you shouldn't be listening to this podcast, or go ask an adult. But actually, probably most kids know that better than most adults. And if you're an adult and you're pretending like you don't know that, lighten up. Let's have some fun. Let's have a good, certain things you want to swallow because they're good for you, and other things you want to spit it out. It's good to quit it. Like, chewing tobacco, maybe it's time to get over that habit. It's time to be a spitter, time to be a quitter. So look at that. Like, do you actually believe that quitting in and of itself is a bad thing? And if so, then you might have a hard time quitting things. Yet inherently, all of us are great quitters. And what's one of the first things that all of us eventually quit, I hope, I hope. And if not, that's okay. No shame. Maybe this isn't the show for you. It's not going to really resonate very much, and that's okay. But for the rest of you, at one point, we all pooped our pants, right? Like we were babies or 8-year-olds, or if we were joining a fraternity or whatever it was. We all pooped our pants at one point. And then at some point, we decided to quit that shit. All right. We decided to quit that shit of going in the pants. And it made life a lot easier, right? It was that time. There was a time and place for pooping your pants, and then that time ended. You might not even remember it because you had people helping you out, right? You probably had some parents or some caretakers that were just like, all right, we need to, this is time. Do you have the abilities? Like, cause at one point you couldn't do it. It was not possible. You were not in a place where you could not poop your pants as a baby. Like you just didn't have the coordination, the motor skills. If you really wanted, if you're just like, this is embarrassing. I'm stinking up the crib. And I didn't just like the other babies here know that I'm the one that's causing the stench. It says, I don't want to be pooping my pants. As hard as you might have wanted to, you didn't have the ability, you didn't have the motor skills. You couldn't physically stand up as a baby and get to a toilet to go. So you had no choice. There was not, you even couldn't even get your pants down. You didn't have the dexterity of your fingers and your hands to get your diaper down enough to at least possibly poop outside of your pants. That was, if you had pants on, that's where the poop was going. And sphincter control, like that was a new, it was like a whole new thing. You're figuring out hands and then sphincter muscles and all that. Like, it's just a lot going on, right, baby? Think back to those times and how challenging just even the most basic things are. And so we don't get frustrated, at a baby or a toddler when they poop their pants. We just go like, oh, they're having a hard time. But at some point you quit it. You're just like, you know what? I'm old enough. I can walk. I can pull down my pants. I can wipe my own ass. Yeah, it's time to do some big boy things and not poop the pants anymore. Some big boy, big girl activities, being big in the world. So you are a talented quitter because you've quit pooping your pants when you realized it was the right thing to do. And you didn't beat yourself up for all of your years of pant poopery, did you? No, because that was just where you were at. So what if we take this same view with pants pooping and apply it to maybe anything else that might be ready to go in your life, where you don't have to get upset, and just remember when you did start to get good at being potty trained, was it like all of a sudden from one day, boom, you were perfect and you never had a mishap or a mistake ever again? No. Sometimes you go back. But then you just recognize it's a learning experience, and then you go longer or better or whatever. Or maybe if you do quote unquote fail or roll back, you don't do so for as long or in as messy a way, right? Like it's like, oh crap, I'm about to poop my pants. And you go and you like find a bush and you pull it out. And so it's like you crap in a shrub or something like that. Or, the upper deck of a toilet, doing a little upper decker. I've had to explain to a friend of mine, maybe he's listening. I won't say his name, but I was like, hey, have you ever done an upper decker? And he's like, what is that? I'm like, well, a toilet, the bowl, if you think of that as the lower deck, most people go in the lower deck. But, there's the tank up top usually. And so if you do an upper decker, it's using the tank to drop your number too. And this is probably the shittiest episode I've ever done. So we're going to see how well this does. But yeah, that's again, for those of you that maybe were ever in a fraternity or watched movies about fraternities or just like, I don't know, toilet humor, upper deckers, you poop in the tank and then the tank drains into the bowl, and so the surprises can occur. I'm not saying to do this. I don't even know if anyone's ever done this. I think there's a whole category of terms that exist for things that I like to believe nobody actually does. And upper decker is one of these terms where I like to believe no one's actually pooped in the tank of a toilet, yet it does seem feasible. And so why not have a term so that if it did ever happen, which I'm hoping, again, that it didn't, ever has and that never will, but we now have a term. Now you know the term, so that if you go somewhere, you flush that toilet and It's like, wait, there's more coming into the bowl than leaving the bowl. Somebody did an upper decker. And this episode will have helped you make more sense of the world. You're welcome. So when it comes to quitting things, having that view of seeing yourself as an evolving, growing being continuously, not just like that, oh, that was just something you did back when you were, 1, 2, 3, I don't know when kids get potty trained, but that you're doing this continuously throughout your lifetime, ideally with different behaviors and different ways of being. And so feeling overwhelmed by the daily grind? Imagine if you could pause, reset, and truly connect with a calmer, more fulfilled you. It's not just a dream, it's absolutely possible. Hi, I'm Justin, and I invite you to discover the life-changing techniques in my book, Engineered to Love. Right now, I'm offering a free chapter complete with guided audios that have already helped so many people find peace amidst the chaos. These aren't just any techniques. They're transformative practices designed to help you love yourself and engage deeply with the present moment without even having to close your eyes to the world around you. So join us at engineeredtolove.com/sample and access your free guided session. It's time to bust the busyness and embrace the joy, ease, and love in your everyday life. Don't wait. Start your journey to a more relaxed and recharged you today, because you deserve to live a life you love. Visit engineeredtolove.com/sample. See you there. Embrace your ability as a quitter. Be like, I used to be a pants shitter. Now I'm a quitter, and be fucking proud of it. Be a proud quitter that's no longer a pants shitter. I think that's the bumper sticker for the ages. So what's something you might want to quit, right? Like maybe there's a food that's just like, man, I just can't help eating this food. Embrace being a quitter. One, have compassion for yourself as that eating this food has served a purpose. Like it soothed you. Like, there might have been some emotional trauma that you've been getting over, or you just have this need to feel good right now, and you haven't figured out other ways that make you feel good. And so you haven't found a substitute. And so when you go like, all right, I want to get rid of these things, and then, okay, what am I going to replace it with? Right. Cause you can't just say like, well, like at the beginning, I was talking about sometimes things have to go for something to come in. But sometimes we need to know where we're heading so that we can start replacing that. Because remember, if there's a vacuum, something's going to fill that. And if we don't consciously put in what it is we want to fill that with, then it's going to be filled with the old behavior, right? So very important to know, like, okay, instead of this behavior, so instead of like pooping my pants, I am going to go poop in the toilet, right? So it's very clear of like, okay, this is where I've been, and then here's who I'm becoming. I am becoming a toilet clogger of toilets. So those of you who read my book, Engineered to Love, Going Beyond Success to Fulfillment, you will, it's a little nod to you there, the super fans that read the book. If you haven't, it's now available on Spotify, at least in the US. For premium subscribers, you can listen to the audiobook for free. But you can also get the audiobook and search for my name, Engineered to Love. You'll find wherever you can get the book and the audiobook. Highly recommend it. So you want to know like where you're headed to, right? So it's like, oh, I want to be like foods that really satisfy me. Like for me, it's like high quality grass-fed beef is like something really good for me. But I also have a sweet tooth. And so when I'm trying to like get out of eating too many sweets, one thing I've been going to is mixing some protein powder, some like chocolate flavored protein powder with some either cashew yogurt or coconut yogurt, which is surprisingly good. And it kind of like, it's like ice cream. It's really, so it's like, okay, I'm avoiding sweets and I'm heading towards this coconut yogurt protein powder mix. And so we got to start thinking of that. What's for you? It's like, oh my gosh, like, don't want to have pizza so much, right? Or don't want to eat so much. So what can I do? It's like, oh, well, maybe I can do some little mindfulness exercises as I eat. I can really just dial in, like, what is this bite of food tasting like, feeling like? What emotions are coming up? What am I noticing in my body? Could you imagine if you started doing that with every bite you did? you would likely not eat as much, right? Like one, it's going to take a lot of fucking time. And then the second, you're going to notice when you're full, and you're also going to be aware when it's like, oh, I just want more of this yummy, 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 yummy to feel good and distract. Cause there's another part of me that's like, oh, I feel a little sad. There's something that I'm missing or something I want to do differently in my life. So yeah, starting to think of like where you're going, right? And when it comes to relationships, and so tying it all back to this holiday time, which this is be coming out here early December, so welcome, is it might be time to quit some relationships or some events and not being with the same people you've been with for all of these years. And these people are not going to like it, because it's like, what do you mean you don't want to be with me? But if these people are your shit relationships, this is effectively every time you go and spend time with them, you're shitting your pants relationship wise. And you're probably not feeling good about yourself. You're probably feeling not supported. You're probably feeling like you got to hide parts of yourself. Maybe you're feeling like you argumentative, angry, frustrated. There's going to be all these things that could be coming up just because like you've outgrown these people. Be honest, like you grow and not everybody grows in the same way. And it might be time to take some time away. And it doesn't mean that maybe you're never going to see these people ever again, or you're never going to be able to spend time. Or maybe it's just about less time, right? Maybe it's just about less time. Less time in a harmful arena is big, right? So it's sort of like, the sun. It's like a little bit of time in the sun gives you a good tan, but too much time in the sun, you're going to get burned. So there might just be like finding that right sweet spot. Like, with certain groups of people, you might be the equivalent of a ginger, and just a little bit of time is going to cause a severe burn. Yeah. So you're going to need to like take some time away and figure out like, well, what is your sunscreen? What are the tools, the techniques? And these are lots of things I like to teach with people when I coach them, and I try to sprinkle them in with my programs. Yeah. And so you might be like, well, I can't just quit. Yes, you can. You can quit that and do something else. And this is things that I've been playing around. Like I haven't done a Thanksgiving meal for like over 10 years. And actually, this is the first year that I did a Thanksgiving meal, but I did it completely differently. I did it in my way, where I prepared the meal and I made it open to a group of people that might not have had anyone else to share it with. And it was beautiful and great. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go find a group of people that I'm supposed to spend it with. I have those people. I love those people. They're great. And when it's time to spend time with them, I spend time with them. I wanted to offer something to people that maybe don't have that opportunity. And it felt really good, and create some Zoom spaces. So if you're on my email list, which you can get on justinwink.com, would have seen that on Thanksgiving Day, I hosted a Zoom room where a little self-giving, where you could give some time to yourself, where I facilitated some breathing practices and some little sharing of what's going on with the holiday. It was really great. And the people that arrived got so much out of it. I was so grateful for them showing up. And so if I would have just been doing the thing that I'm supposed to do, it might have been frustrating, challenging for me, and I might have been causing frustration. Because that's the other thing to consider, is when you're around somebody and you're feeling like, oh, this is like not feeling good. This is frustrating. How do you think the other person's feeling? They're picking up on that shit. So ever think maybe you're doing a favor? It's kind of like, one point shitting the pants. It's like, oh, cool. This is, the new baby, like doing new baby things. But at some point it's like, this kid's like 10 years old. This shit's got to stop. Like, when are they going to figure this out? Like, there might be that too, where they're like, when is this person going to find other people to like spend Thanksgiving with, to spend Christmas with? Like they can't say that. They don't have the skills, but they might be feeling. And so when at some point you're just like, yeah, I've got something else to do. They're going, oh, but they might really be feeling like a sense of relief. And then when you come back at a different point and you can re-engage in a different way, it's going to be like, oh, this is great. This person is here and phenomenal. And I get to be the me that I wanted to be. Whereas if we just keep doing what we've been doing, we keep doing the things in the way that we've been, and we really don't allow ourselves to grow. And it's the equivalent of staying stuck at an earlier developmental stage. And so when we allow ourselves to quit things that, served us when we were at an earlier stage, it allows us to move on to that next stage. And that's a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of a transition, yet how great was the freedom, right? To be able to be like, yeah, I can go about, I don't have to worry about like needing someone to change my diaper and stuff. Like, think of that. And that's what it's like when you like say, oh, I no longer need to just keep spending time with the same people. I no longer have to keep engaging in the same eating behaviors or drinking behaviors. I no longer have to keep doing the same type of work as a career. This goes really to just about anything you can in life. So I really encourage you, be a quitter, be a quitter. You've been a quitter already at least once, likely multiple times in your life, and see that as a good thing, a good skill, a good ability. Now, yes, there are going to be some areas of your life where you don't want to quit. You want to keep going. It's about having the discernment to know the difference and to realize that you have these skills and there's a time and a place to use them all. And I want to embrace you to look at, especially this time of year, maybe what's time to quit? What's time to quit? And start it now and don't wait until New Year's. Because when New Year's comes along, usually what's already gone, and there's probably a reason why New Year's is when people want to do new things, is because they don't actually have an opportunity to really do the challenging things at the challenging times of year. So it's kind of an easy year to go like, oh, let me try some bullshit. I don't have to sweep much out. Like everyone just gets busy to doing stuff anyway. But this is the time of year where you can really lean in and have like some difficult, challenging considerations of like, ooh, yeah, I'm going to do something different for Christmas. I'm going to do something that I want, right? When was the last time you did something you want, like really want? And a lot of times we're taught that that's selfish, yet what do you really want for other people? Don't you want other people doing what they want, doing what lights them up, what makes them happy? And so if you want that for others, you got to also want that for yourself, and you have to demonstrate that for them. And so that's why when it's like I get an opportunity to do a retreat that I want to do in New Zealand, I make it happen because I want to show you and everyone else that you can make what happens in your life that lights you up and do it and makes you excited and makes you feel alive. And you can be an inspiration too. Not that I'm all that great or all that wonderful. Just I am and I'm not. I'm completely ordinary, but also completely unique and spectacular. And so are you. And it's beautiful. We're got all these similarities, but yet we're all also little unique snowflakes, beautiful, beautiful snowflakes. So be your snowflake self. Let me know. How is this hitting? How is it hitting me talking about quitting and you no longer being a pants shitting person, but being someone who pulls up them big boy and girl pants and goes out in that world, and you're independent. You can do what you want, when you want, how you want it, with love, with consideration. You're not trying to hurt anybody, of course. Yeah. So how's this landing? What's something that you are like, you know what? I think it's time to quit this. What's something you want to quit? I want to know. Let me know at podcast@justinwink.com or follow me on the social media. So TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Yeah. Find me at YouTube, right? So at Justin Wink, Ph.D. Find me there. And I hope you've all been doing well. Start or end this year strong. End it strong. You deserve it. So with that, thank you and good day.